Welcome. I am really glad you decided to join us today because we have a custom-tailored deep dive lined up specifically for you.
Yeah, we have a really fascinating life and career to look at today.
We really do. It serves as this massive case study in reinvention. We are looking at Joshua Samuel Fatu.
Right, known globally to millions of wrestling fans as main event Jey Uso.
Exactly. And our mission for this deep dive is to pull from an incredibly comprehensive Wikipedia biography. We want to figure out how someone manages to escape the looming shadow of a legendary family.
And transition from being literally half of a twin act.
Yes,
Yeah.
to ultimately become a record-breaking solo star.
It is a remarkable journey to map out. And I want to emphasize right at the top for you listening, even if you do not follow professional wrestling, the arc of Joshua Fatu's career is a profound look at long-term storytelling.
Oh, absolutely.
It's about navigating complex family dynamics and, the undeniable power of knowing when and how to pivot. There are lessons here about identity and perseverance that apply far beyond the wrestling ring. We are talking about someone who had to figure out who he was when everything he had been packaged as was just stripped away.
Okay, let's unpack this, because you cannot talk about Jey Uso without talking about the Anoa'i family tree.
No, you really can.
This family is essentially wrestling royalty. The roots of the Anoa'i family in this industry run incredibly deep. Jey is the son of WWE Hall of Famer Rikishi.
Right.
He is the twin brother of Jonathan Fatu, who wrestles as Jimmy Uso. And his family includes legends like his uncle, the late Umaga.
So from the very moment he steps foot in a ring, the expectations are just astronomical.
He was carrying a legacy before he even laced up his boots.
Which makes his actual starting point so compelling. Yeah. Because wrestling was not Fatu's first path.
No, it wasn't.
He and his twin brother went to Escambia High School in Pensacola, Florida. And Fatu was a highly competitive football player there.
He really was.
He took that talent to the collegiate level, playing linebacker at the University of West Alabama from 2003 to 2005.
And he wasn't just a warm body on the roster either. Prior to the 2005 season, the UWA head coach Sam McCorkle was quoted in a Tuscaloosa news article.
Yeah, that was a great find in the source.
He specifically cited Fatu as a player to watch on defense. The coaching staff saw genuine potential in him.
They did.
But as the source notes, Fatu had previously sat out for academic reasons, and that 2005 season just did not pan out the way he hoped it would. The football dream essentially stalled out.
And that stalled dream is a powerful aha moment for you listening. Think about how often we view a setback, like an athletic career hitting a wall, as a total failure.
Oh, all the time. It feels like the end of the world.
Exactly. Fatu could have viewed the end of his football run as this crushing defeat. Instead, that perceived failure was the exact mechanism that redirected him toward his true calling.
Right, because if he becomes a star linebacker and makes it to the pros...
We never get Jey Uso.
Wow.
He realizes the gridiron isn't his future. So he and his brother decide to join their father Rikishi and their uncle Umaga in the wrestling business.
So the pivot happens. In June 2007, he debuts in World Extreme Wrestling as Joshua Fatu, part of the Fatu twins.
A package deal right from the start.
Fast forward to 2010, they move to WWE's developmental territory, Florida Championship Wrestling. He is wrestling under the name Jules Uso. And pretty quickly, he and Jimmy capture the FCW Florida Tag Team Championship.
But look at those naming conventions.
The Fatu twins. The Uso brothers.
Exactly. From day one, his professional identity is entirely intertwined with his brother. He is literally packaged as a matched set.
And they are brought up to the WWE main roster in May 2010 with that exact package.
They debut as villains, or heels in wrestling terminology, meaning their entire job is to act as the antagonists and antagonize the crowd into booing them.
And they introduce themselves by attacking the unified tag team champions, the Hart Dynasty.
Which is a bold way to make an entrance.
Seriously. And during this early run, they really lean heavily into their cultural roots. They embrace their Samoan heritage very overtly on global television.
Yet, before matches, they would perform the Siva Tau. It's a traditional Samoan war dance used to display strength and energize themselves before a battle.
And by 2013, they started wearing bright face paint that was very similar to the paint worn by their deceased uncle, Umaga.
It was a beautiful visual way to honor him and further highlight their culture.
And it completely works. The crowd connects with it on a massive level.
They do.
They transition from being the bad guys to massive fan favorites, eventually winning the Slammy Award for Tag Team of the Year in both 2014 and 2015.
But here's where it gets really interesting, because in 2016, they take a massive creative gamble.
Oh, a huge gamble. Here's where it gets really interesting for sure.
They get drafted to the SmackDown brand, and they completely drop the bright colors, they drop the face paint, they stop doing the Sivitao entrance altogether.
They turn heel again and adopt this very gritty, street-level persona.
Now think about this from a branding perspective. In the entertainment industry, when you strip away the exact visual hooks that made you a fan favorite, especially merchandise-friendly hooks like face paint, you risk totally alienating your fan base.
It is a highly dangerous gamble. You are essentially throwing away guaranteed money.
But it was a calculated move to avoid audience fatigue. In any business, there is a constant risk of the consumer getting bored if you present the exact same product year after year.
That makes a lot of sense.
By shedding the very things that made them popular, they forced the audience to look at them in a completely new light. They proved they didn't need the nostalgia of their uncle's face paint to be compelling.
And the accolades they rack up in this new gritty era are just staggering. They become 8-time tag team champions.
8 times.
They are the first team ever to win both the Raw and SmackDown tag team titles.
The first ever.
And during their 5th run with the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, they held those belts for 622 days.
Over a year and a half as champions.
That is the longest male tag team championship reign in WWE history.
And during this historic reign, they develop a legendary rivalry with another incredibly popular team, the New Day.
Oh man, the New Day.
But the sources highlight that it wasn't just about beating each other up. There was a deep underlying respect between the two teams.
Yes, there's a very specific moment in March 2019 on SmackDown. It's a gauntlet match.
Right. Now, a gauntlet match is an exhausting endurance test where a wrestler or team has to face consecutive opponents one after the other.
And the Usos are entrants in this match against their rivals, the New Day. But instead of fighting, the Usos intentionally forfeit.
They just lay down their arms and walk away.
They do it to help Kofi Kingston, a member of the New Day, survive the gauntlet and earn a WWE Championship match at WrestleMania, which is essentially the Super Bowl of professional wrestling.
That single action deepens their characters so much. They aren't just one-dimensional villains or heroes anymore.
No, they are complex competitors who recognize mutual struggle and respect. It added a profound layer of prestige to the entire tag team division.
But no matter how much prestige you have as a tag team, you are still sharing the spotlight. You are still half of an equation.
True.
And in 2020, a major psychological shift happens in Fatu's career. Jey Uso suffers a legitimate knee injury at WrestleMania 36, putting him out of action indefinitely.
Suddenly, for the first time in his professional life, Jey is flying solo.
And he is immediately thrown into the deep end.
By September 2020, a wrestler named Big E is injured in a storyline, and Jey takes his place in a fatal 4-way match.
A fatal 4-way is exactly what it sounds like. A chaotic match where 4 competitors fight at once, and the first person to score a pinfall or submission ends the entire match.
And Jey wins it. That victory earns him the very first singles championship opportunity of his entire career.
But the champion he has to face is the newly turned villain, his own cousin, Roman Reigns.
Which sparks a deeply intense feud. It culminates in an I Quit Hell in a Cell match in October 2020.
A Hell in a Cell match is one of the most brutal structures in WWE. It's a massive steel cage with a roof that surrounds the ring, historically used to end bitter rivalries.
And an I Quit stipulation means the only way to win is to inflict so much pain on your opponent that they verbally scream, "I quit," into a microphone.
They absolutely destroy each other inside that cage. Jey refuses to give up, no matter what Roman does to him.
But then Roman changes tactics. He grabs an injured Jimmy who had come down to the ring to check on his brother and puts him into a brutal submission hold.
Roman threatens to seriously injure Jimmy unless Jey gives up.
And to save his twin brother, Jey finally says, "I quit."
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this storyline was a chilling reflection of real-world, toxic family dynamics. Roman Reigns used Jey's love and loyalty for his brother to break his spirit.
It's heavy stuff.
After that match, Jey is essentially coerced into aligning with Roman. He becomes the reluctant right-hand man of this villainous family faction known as the Bloodline.
It really is a masterclass in serialized television.
You can easily compare the psychological manipulation in this wrestling storyline to the power dynamics in a prestige TV drama like Succession.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Roman is the mob boss, and Jey is the soldier stripped of his autonomy, doing terrible things not because he wants to, but to protect his family.
And Jey plays that coerced role for years. The bloodline completely dominates WWE. Jey and a returning Jimmy even unify the Raw and SmackDown tag titles, becoming undisputed champions.
But the tension is always bubbling under the surface, especially when an outsider, Sami Zayn, gets involved and is temporarily accepted into the group.
Which brings us to the 2023 Royal Rumble. This serves as the ultimate breaking point.
Right. After Roman Reigns defeats Kevin Owens in the main event, the entire bloodline starts beating Owens down. It's a gang assault.
Roman hands Sami Zayn a steel chair and demands he hit Owens with it to prove his loyalty.
Instead, Sami snaps and hits Roman in the back with the chair.
The bloodline immediately swarms Sami, absolutely destroying him, but Jey doesn't join in.
He just watches.
And then, in total disgust, he turns around and walks out of the ring, leaving his family behind while they are actively beating someone up.
After almost 3 years of being the abused, coerced soldier, Jey's conscience finally overrides his fear of his cousin.
The storytelling was so meticulous over those 3 years that a simple decision to walk away from a fight felt like a monumental earthquake to the audience in that stadium.
It sets off a massive chain reaction. At WrestleMania 39, the Usos main event night 1.
Main eventing WrestleMania is the highest honor a performer can achieve in this industry. And this was the first time a tag team match headlined the show since the very first WrestleMania back in 1985.
But they lose their historic tag titles to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
And the loss of those titles diminishes their value to Roman Reigns. He begins treating them even worse, favoring their younger brother, Solo Sikoa.
Which leads to the explosion. At the Night of Champions event, Jimmy has had enough and hits Roman with a super kick.
The super kick is a signature martial arts style kick right to the chin that knocks an opponent out.
A few weeks later on SmackDown, Jey is forced to choose between his twin brother and his abusive cousin.
He looks at Roman, hits him with a super kick of his own, and officially leaves the bloodline.
This leads to the Bloodline Civil War tag team match at the Money in the Bank event. It's the Usos versus Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa.
And the climax of that match is historic. Jey Uso pins Roman Reigns.
We have to contextualize the scale of that for you. Going into that match, Roman Reigns had not been pinned by anyone for over 3 years.
3 whole years. He was presented as an unbeatable final boss.
For Jey, the cousin who was manipulated, abused, and forced into submission, to be the one to finally pin Roman's shoulders to the mat, it is the ultimate narrative payoff.
But the celebration is incredibly short-lived. A month later at SummerSlam, Jey faces Roman in a singles match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship.
It is a brutal match called Tribal Combat. Jey is on the verge of winning. He has Roman beaten.
But someone wearing a mask pulls him out of the ring. The attacker pulls off the mask, and it's his twin brother, Jimmy.
Jimmy betrays him, hits him with a super kick, and costs him the world title.
This raises an important question. Who are you when everything that defined you is gone? Jey has lost his family faction. He has lost his tag team titles. And now he has been betrayed by the person he literally shared a womb with.
There was no one left to rely on but himself.
So Jey makes a massive move. He announces he is switching brands entirely, leaving SmackDown to go to Raw.
He is reinventing himself yet again.
Yeah.
And this is where the main event Jey Uso solo run truly begins.
He had to figure out how to command a stadium without his twin.
He adapted his in-ring psychology, developed a new connection with the crowd where they would literally bounce their arms in unison to his entrance music.
Yeah, relying entirely on his own solo charisma, and the momentum he builds is extraordinary.
In September 2024, Jey defeats Braun Breaker to win the Intercontinental Championship.
It is the very first singles title of his almost 15-year career.
The emotion of climbing that mountain after 15 years was just palpable.
But he doesn't stop there. On February 1st, 2025, he enters the Royal Rumble match.
The Royal Rumble is a grueling gauntlet where 30 men enter at timed intervals. And the only way to be eliminated is to be thrown over the top rope.
Outlasting 29 other competitors is one of the hardest things to do in wrestling.
And winning it guarantees a world championship match at WrestleMania. It is the golden ticket of the industry.
Jey wins the whole thing by last eliminating John Cena.
Amazing.
And he cashes that Goldie ticket in perfectly. At WrestleMania 41, Jey Uso reaches the absolute mountaintop. He faces Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, and he wins the title via submission.
The guy who was known his entire life for being half of a twin act is now the World Heavyweight Champion.
He holds that title for 51 days, successfully defending it against heavy hitters like Seth Rollins and Logan Paul, before eventually losing it back to Gunther in June 2025.
It is a remarkable peak. He proved every doubter wrong. But what is equally fascinating about long-term storytelling is its cyclical nature.
How so?
Because even after achieving the ultimate solo goal, the narrative pulls him back to his roots, but under completely different terms.
Ah, I see what you mean. If we fast forward to our present timeline, late 2025 and early 2026, after doing his own thing and proving he can be the top guy, Jey and Jimmy finally reconcile.
In December 2025, they announced they are reuniting.
And almost immediately on the December 29th episode of Raw, they defeat AJ Styles and Dragon Lee to win the World Tag Team Championship.
That marks their 9th tag team title reign together.
And just a few weeks ago, on January 31st, 2026, Jey enters the Royal Rumble match at number 25.
He is eventually eliminated by Roman Reigns, which serves as a poignant reminder that the ghosts of the bloodline are never really that far away.
Before we wrap up this deep dive, I do want to sprinkle in some personal trivia from the sources, just to humanize the man behind all these massive stadium main events and complex family dramas.
Always good to ground the persona.
Fatu married his high school sweetheart, Takesha Travis, back in 2014. They actually met during those Escambia high school days we talked about earlier.
It's wonderful.
They have 2 sons together, and they have 3 French bulldogs with excellent names, Pongo, Mumble, and Jax.
It really is a grounding detail. It reminds us that beneath the larger-than-life main event persona and the intense physical toll of his profession, there is a real person with a family life outside the ring.
And a pretty competitive gamer, too. Fatu is a regular on the YouTube gaming channel Up Down Down, which is run by fellow wrestler Xavier Woods.
Oh, I've heard of that channel.
Yeah, Fatu goes by the alias Juicy. And he actually challenged Kofi Kingston for a championship in a game of Tetris.
No way.
And won. He is literally a Tetris champion, adding 1 more belt to his resume.
Well, maintaining a fully comprehensive look at the source material, it's also noted that his journey has not been entirely without personal stumbling blocks.
Right.
In January 2018, Fatu was arrested for driving while intoxicated in Hidalgo County, Texas, following a live event. According to the public records, he was released the same day after posting a $500 personal recognizance bond.
So keeping all of this in mind, what does this all mean for you listening? Why did we spend this time diving so deeply into the life and career of Jey Uso?
Because Jey Uso's journey is the ultimate proof that the label people put on you does not have to dictate your ceiling.
Definitely.
Here's a man who was literally born as a package deal. He transitioned from being a backup college football player to one half of a twin wrestling act, entirely dependent on his brother for his professional identity.
Yet, through perseverance, a willingness to risk alienating his audience to evolve, and the courage to step away from a toxic, abusive family structure, he became a history-making solo world champion.
He refused to let his legacy or his twinhood be the only things that defined his potential.
What fascinates me most about the end of the story we covered today isn't just that he broke away and succeeded alone, it's the fact that he went back. He reunited with Jimmy in late 2025 to win the tag titles again.
This raises a really provocative thought to leave you with. We spend so much time in our culture talking about breaking away to find ourselves, escaping the shadow.
Yeah, we do.
But maybe the ultimate flex of individuality isn't staying away forever. Once Jey proved he could win the world title on his own, returning to his brother wasn't a regression. It was a choice.
That's powerful.
He re-entered that partnership not as a dependent, but as an equal, fully realized individual. Think about the dynamics in your own life. Are there partnerships, creative collaborations, or environments in your past that you had to leave because you were being overshadowed?
I'm sure everyone has something like that.
What would it look like to revisit them now? If you have finally proven you can stand on your own 2 feet, what does it say about your growth when you willingly choose to go back and share the spotlight?
That is an incredible lens to view it through. Thank you so much for joining us on this custom-tailored deep dive. Remember to keep questioning the narratives in your own lives, keep evolving, and we will catch you on the next one.